YouTube.com/Sal. Come and join us. Go subscribe now.
Hey, what's up, Legion? My name is Sal, and this is another Expedition Log. I'd like to welcome all of you to a brand new epoch in my series with the debut of ExLog Phase VIII. Over the next few months, I'm going to take all of you on video tours around the malls near my new home and studio in Virginia to explore everything from the most beautiful and thriving malls I've ever seen down to the most lachrymose examples of brick and mortar retail on the planet. As always, I hope all of you are out there thriving, staying healthy, and having a good time all the time. Thanks especially to my patrons and elite explorers, and everyone who's purchased either a super chat in premieres or merch from my website. I've got tons of stuff for sale. Just head over to salvatoreamadeo.com/merch for all the available goods, and stay tuned to all of my social media and my Discord server for updates. Links for everything are down below. This evening, we'll be visiting a mall that began its life in the 1950s, and it got a full redevelopment ending closure in the late 1980s, and after falling off hard in the 2010s, it received yet another lease on life, only to fail just a few years after opening. So for your consideration, I'd like all of you to come take a walk with me through the Ballston Quarter Mall in Arlington, Virginia. But first, a word from one of our sponsors that actually supported my series briefly back in ExLog 96. Here again, with words on the ancient internet, is America Online 2.5 from 1995. Enjoy.
Every day, America Online is making it easier for people to live, work, and play.
You know, I can even send email on the internet. And of course, there's my personal favorite, live chat. That's how I met my new kayaking buddies. I'm just finishing up here with my new kayaking friends.
Kayaking friends on your computer?
Yeah, I just got America Online, kayaking friends.
Sounds great. Listen, I can't go to the game today.
What?
I've got to send something for my mom's birthday. It's tomorrow. I'll then book plane tickets for our trip next week, and my kids got to go to the library to look up dinosaurs.
Hey, we can take care of all that before we go.
Yeah, right.
Oh, with America Online.
America Online can do all that?
Yeah. How about sending your mom some nice flowers? All you do is click on Marketplace. We place an order.
Call now for America Online, a new way to use your computer.
And it's so easy. All you do is point and click.
But how does it work?
All you need is a computer and a regular phone line. They send you the software and give you 10 free hours to check it out.
How long have you had this?
About a week.
Call now for your free America Online Startup Kit and get free software and 10 free online hours. It's everything you need to get online. Call now for 10 free hours of America Online and get instant access to the worlds of sports, finance, computing, and entertainment.
Call 1-800-614-3434 now for your free America Online Startup Kit with free software and 10 free online hours. It's everything you need to get online. So call 1-800-614-3434.
As World War II raged on through the 1940s, battlefields would take the lives of countless servicemen from both the Axis and the Allies. It was one of the bloodiest times in the history of our planet. But as the war came to an end in 1945, so too did the work in a vast ocean of fabrication shops, which were retrofitted to create goods and parts for the war. Nearly every American city would hold an opulent parade to welcome home their troops and reunite their families, and the transition from a model of wartime production to a more retail-centric industry was underway. 2 years after the war ended, word spread throughout the greater Washington, D.C. area that a new Hecht company was to be constructed near the district as the largest department store and shopping center on the East Coast. Arlington, Virginia was chosen as the location for the new store, and work would begin immediately. Run-down buildings and blighted homes, such as the Reverend Galloway House, littered the area surrounding the gigantic new development. This brand new Hecht's was intended to activate an area of retail that would complement its neighboring Silver Spring Hecht Company, built in 1947, and the Washington, D.C. Hecht Warehouse, which was built 10 years before it in 1937. The new Arlington, Virginia Hecht's took about 2 years to build and would celebrate its grand opening on the morning of Friday, November 2, 1951, with thousands of locals and state officials in attendance. This new 300,000 square foot retail behemoth on its triangular plot of land would offer everything and anything to modern shoppers of the 1950s to keep them ahead of fashion trends and equip them with only the most cutting-edge technology of the time. It would even feature a full-service restaurant in the basement and a Hecht Company line of trucks for local delivery service. A 4-level parking garage would accommodate thousands of motor vehicles coming in from around the DMV, with reasonably priced parking at 5 cents for 3 hours. This would give shoppers enough time not only to browse the Hecht's, but also to peruse the accompanying Parkington shopping center, which had 30 tenants that offered goods and services of varying kinds. The Parkington shopping center would enjoy immediate success, even as hundreds of others like it were rising up around the country. Parkington would be Arlington, Virginia's first official shopping center, and it would undergo multiple changes throughout its life, ultimately to become what is known today as Ballston Quarter.
The face of American merchandising is changing to a new thing called the shopping center out along the highway. Today there are 1,000 of these shopping centers in the United States, mostly built since the war. 2,000 more are being built right now or are in the blueprint stage. New stores are opening every day and old ones are closing down. Department stores are literally chasing their customers to the suburbs. We're in such a store right now. This is Hecht's department store in Parkington, Virginia. 10 years ago, there was no such shape as this in our American countryside. In recent years, these box-like structures have become part of the semi-rural scene all over America. You know, the whole concept of department stores may soon be threatened by televisions, with color television coming in stronger and stronger. It may very well soon make antique the shopping center altogether. The customer sees everything in full color, receives all information. Luggage for a cruise or vacation, table settings in gleaming silver, or toys. What a boon for parents, uncles, and aunts at Christmas time. Right now, the trend is certainly dominated by mergers, great chains, and the growth of the big business, the big enterprise. The United States of America is no longer a country of small shopkeepers. Modern advertising and merchandising have overwhelmed American business as it existed only 50 years ago.
This Father's Day, your dad will love The Natural by Manhattan from Hecht's.
That's my dad, showing me how to climb a tree.
The Natural, with the comfort of cotton polyester and the convenience of permanent press from Hecht's.
This Saturday only, don't miss the one-day sale at Hecht's. You'll find spectacular savings up to 50% throughout our store. 15 hours only, shop the one-day sale this Saturday at Hecht's.
That's Hecht's, especially for you.
This is the Ballston Commons Mall, just before it closed for redevelopment, and this footage was shot on September 28, 2017 by a YouTube account named Elevator Jones. Thanks, Elevator Jones, I appreciate it. In 1986, this mall replaced the former Parkington Center, which we just saw, and it stood as the predecessor for what is known today in 2024 as Ballston Quarter. The mall we're currently looking at bears a striking resemblance to Ballston Quarter today, and minus a few additional long concourses, the only aesthetic changes were those turned into open-air space and the removal of color in favor of bland off-white drywall. Structurally, the mall that exists in Arlington today is the same as it was and is in this footage. The main parking garage was left untouched, and the overall layout was unchanged. In just a moment, we'll begin the video tour of what the mall currently looks like today, but I'd like you to keep your eyes trained for similarities, most notably the ceiling, brickwork, and columns. While the developers may have had good intentions inside this space in revitalizing what was a dead mall, the project never found its footing, and the local area is seemingly oblivious. While I would have loved to tour the Ballston Commons Mall and see it in its beautifully liminal dead mall glory, it's really not that much different today. So let's jump ahead a few years so we can see what the Ballston Quarter looks like, and as you'll see, it doesn't look much different. Welcome to Ballston Quarter in Arlington, Virginia, 2024.
Okay. That way.
I shot the footage you're currently watching just a couple of weeks before the publication of this episode. We've already seen the two previous iterations of this mall, but I'd like to dig deeper into the history for this place, so let's dive right into the historical narrative. Before it was Ballston Quarter, before it was the Ballston Commons Mall, there was the Parkington Shopping Center on this site, which opened on November 2, 1951 at a cost of $6.5 million, developed and owned by the Hecht Company. The name Parkington literally came from the parking garage that was attached to it and how many cars it could fit. There was parking and there was a ton of it. That's where the name came from, Parkington. This really was the main selling point, though, in the shopping center at Parkington and at the Hechts, which advertised use of its parking garage, allowing customers to, quote, drive to the store level which they wish to shop, park their car, walk a few yards into the store, and buy the items they want, close quote. Parkington was described by the Washington Post as a, quote, towering green brick building with an all-glass facade, lighted from behind by 180 fluorescent tubes, close quote. These lights would illuminate 87 individual windows that would display single letters to make up full sentences that would change occasionally for holidays and in support of various organizations. Parkington as a whole was so successful in its early years that for its 5th birthday, Hecht's got some touched up decorations and a 12-foot tall birthday cake. But the celebration itself was attended by some of the most well-known celebrities of the time. At the 1956 birthday party was artist Norman Rockwell, comedians Abbott and Costello, actor Buddy Hackett, and Charlie Brown cartoonist Charles M. Schulz. By 1963, a 12-floor office building was constructed, and Parkington was grossing nearly $250 million per year just by itself. However, into the 1970s, with the addition of the Ballston Orange Line Metro stop, the value for the property shot through the roof, and the now 30-year-old retail site needed to change if it was going to compete with locals. By 1982, Arlington County approved a $13 million investment to completely raze the existing Parkington structures, leaving only the parking garage and the Hechts, who would foot the bill for the rest of what would become a $100 million redevelopment project.
Somebody is high off of their gourd.
Work began on a new shopping center at the old Parkington site a couple of years later, and it would take another 2 years to complete. Then, on October 20, 1986, the Ballston Commons Mall held its formal grand opening and ribbon-cutting dedication. Senior anchors for the mall were a brand new 120,000 square foot JCPenney, along with the original Hechts, who had the Maid Department Stores Company as their parent owner since 1959 at this point. The mall was designed with much of what we have all come to know and love as the late 80s aesthetic language for regional shopping malls. There was a food court in the basement level with neon signs glowing from wall to wall, and throughout the upper 3 floors were long stretches of concourse with metal railings accentuating a soft palette of pastel teal and pink colors. Elevators and staircases were strategically placed in the center courtyard and near anchors, with long columns highlighting the large empty spaces in the center of each concourse where light would rain in from the ample skylights along the ceiling, providing tons of fenestration. The Ballston Commons Mall entered the United States landscape of regional shopping malls with charisma and confidence, and 530,000 square feet of interior concourse, along with nearly the same amount in anchor space, bringing the grand total of leasable area in the mall to just about 1 million square feet. At the turn of the millennium in 2000, Ballston Commons lost JCPenney at only 14 years old, and renovations were already underway to keep the place up to date and competitive. Of the 2 parking garages on site, the one servicing Hecht's at the tip of the triangle on the corner of Wilson and Glebe was redeveloped into an 11-story office tower, along with the former JCPenney site being converted into a Hecht's furniture gallery. It was at this time when a brand new Regal Cinema opened on site, along with the MedStar Iceplex, where the National Hockey League's Washington Capitals would practice. 2 years later, on August 30, 2005, Federated Department Stores completed its acquisition of the May Department Stores Company for $11 billion. And after just a year of rebranding and renovation, all Hecht's Company stores were transitioned to the Macy's masthead by 2006, including the location here at Ballston Commons Mall. As the world suffered through the Great Recession from 2007 until 2009, business at Ballston Commons would begin to nosedive into the 2010s. Federated still owned the mall, but dozens of inline tenants were vacating, including the Macy's Furniture Gallery. By 2013, Cleveland-based Forest City Development purchased the Macy's Furniture Gallery and office space above Macy's for $13.4 million, giving them majority voting control for redevelopment of the Ballston Commons Mall. So immediately they sought approval from Arlington County to work with Federated in redeveloping the 500,000 square foot mall, which was attached to the Macy's. The submitted plans illustrated a shift back to the outdoor Parkington roots by removing half of the existing roof to create a hybrid indoor-outdoor shopping and experiential center that would ultimately house 360,000 square feet of retail space, 176,000 square feet of office space, and a refurbished food court at 25,000 square feet, along with a brand new 406-unit residential building where the Macy's Furniture Gallery once stood. After just a few years of planning, work began to redevelop the mall in early 2016. Existing tenants at Ballston Commons were told to vacate the premises by May 31, 2016, and by September of the following year, in 2017, storefronts were already being gutted and concourses were being drywalled off to be demolished, as you saw earlier in this episode with the footage from Elevator Jones. Construction took over 3 years to complete, and on March 30, 2019, the grand opening was held for the mall in its refreshed and redeveloped semi-open-air form called Ballston Quarter. According to Will Vogel, Forest City Senior Vice President of Development, the renovations cost a total of $330 million, and that Forest City doesn't consider Ballston Quarter a, quote, traditional shopping mall, close quote. At its grand opening, the new mall featured more experiential offerings, such as the Punch Bowl Social Bowling Alley, which has a restaurant, bar, and arcade. The old basement food court with its rad neon was converted into the Quarter Market Food Hall with 18 upscale eateries and a massive stepped courtyard. There was an escape room and a full-service gym, and there was Cookology, a 5,700 square foot cooking school featuring 5 kitchens that offered gnocchi workshops, meal prep training sessions, family sushi classes, a course called Duck 101, and Saturday night matchmaking events for men and women aged 35 to 50. Every class or session, or any time you entered this place to take part in an activity they host, would cost you between $125 and $300 per person. Yikes. Just months after the brand new bougie Ballston Quarter opened, COVID hit and closed malls down temporarily. Obviously, Ballston reopened, but just like most other malls, it lost tenants from both its indoor and outdoor sections, and from the new food court. Having said that, the main attraction to this mall is as a transitional place to either the Regal Cinema, gym, metro, or food court. While Forest City clearly stated that Ballston Quarter wasn't meant to be a traditional mall, anyone parking their car in the garage to enter a place that has a Macy's, movie theater, and food court would probably think otherwise. The redevelopment did remove the roof to create an outdoor space for this mall, along with a neat courtyard where folks could eat their food in the outdoors, along with the new 22-story apartment building called Origin Ballston. But other than that, I'm really at a loss for what the money went to here. You can clearly see the old mall walking around in here, from the untouched ceiling to the broken escalators and the brickwork leading you down the same concourse that opens to the 75-year-old parking garage that fits a ton of cars. The Macy's closed its doors in April of 2024 after years of abysmal sales, and I showed up about a half a year later to film the footage you're watching right now. Currently, Federated and Forest City plan to demolish the Macy's structure in late 2024 to build yet another apartment building with 500 units opposite of the existing apartment building, Origin Ballston, and to keep the concourse intact between them. As a structure, that works, but as a mall, it doesn't. And Forest City either needs to rethink how they're currently using the space inside this mall or adjust their expectations, unless they want to have just an empty concourse for people to walk through when they go to the movies or the metro, or down 4 floors of emptiness to grab a bite to eat. While the history for this mall begins in a brilliant blaze of retail culture and opulence, Boston's retail story is going to end in just a whimper that will definitely see most, if not all, traces of mall culture deleted from this space to make way for more expensive housing and bland walkways. For any of the locals out there that have seen the transition of this place from either Parkington to Ballston Commons or Ballston Commons to Ballston Quarter, I'd love to hear your perspective down in my comment section or on my social media. Links are all in my description. Back in December, when I moved to Virginia from Baltimore, people were telling me about all the malls in my new area: Tyson's, Fair Oaks, Manassas, and Ballston Quarter. But when they told me about the layout of Ballston, it really confused me. It had this indoor-outdoor section, and it had a path going to the metro station, and I looked online. I didn't really see any videos of this place. So since I don't think the developers are gonna demolish the structure anytime soon, and that it probably will serve as a gateway to and from the Ballston Metro for years, if not forever, at this point, I'd like to take all of you on a brief guided tour to explain the layout and show you how this place actually works.
Okay, just to give you all an idea of like the total layout and like a compass for you. So the entire mall, it's got floors 1, 2, and we're on 3. If you look, the entire thing, it extends all the way out to that outdoor area, and inside there really isn't anything here. There's a gym that you get to from the outside. There's the movie theater, which, you know, okay. There's this cooking place, this like bougie cooking school place, and then a couple of other stores down here. But then the Macy's, which has closed, you know, that was sort of like the last breath of real retail for this place. The overall layout of this mall is kind of unique. It's a hybrid mall. There's this interior section, but then there's this outdoor section that has a lot of stores out there. There's a CVS, there's like a hair laser treatment place. There's some game stores upstairs, but it's a hybrid area of its own, because outdoors there's also 3 floors. I'm sorry, there's 3 floors of stuff to do out there. There's a restaurant. I'll turn around to show you. So there's the restaurant, that's the 3rd floor. I'm sure that it's got like, you know, windows that look outside, and it looks like a patio area. The gym looks like it extends out to the 3rd floor, but then the actual mall stuff for outdoors starts on the 1st and 2nd floors. I think there's a pedestrian bridge out there on the 8th level. All right, let's see where this takes us. Oh, there's like ice hockey up here. Awesome. Oh, it's like an ice skating rink. What? Let's see if there is a bridge. I have a feeling there is. No. There is, but I'm not gonna do it. So we're gonna turn around and I'm gonna go down to the second floor. I'm gonna go outside, hang a UE, then come back in. We can't do it on the escalator because that's out of service. So let's go outside. There's this whole section of stuff that is now drywalled over and closed off. More broken escalators. And then there's this outdoor area that I want to check out. So let's go out this way this time. So as you can see, there's nothing here. I believe that this same day health place is closed. There's another empty tenant stall to my left right now that we're passing. To my right, we're about to pass immersive game box. And it looks like that's open, so I guess that's like an arcade place. But as you can see, there's just more nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, that whole thing is part of the gym. That's part of the gym, that outdoor area. Looks like we have a library here, which is great, awesome. Not necessarily a big draw for the mall, but okay. Okay, so as you can see, there's also nothing here, nothing there. And we'll take a walk down the end to where the Macy's was to see how much nothing was there. So this is looks like a bar, looks like a tapas place called Wino, where you can get some decent looking food, but gee whiz, look at these f***ing prices, oh my God. So, okay, here's one of the draws to the mall. There's the empty Macy's. And then looks like there's a big community event happening at the church, which is awesome. The church, the wine bar, the other stuff we saw outside, that's not bringing people into this concourse. The Macy's probably used to bring people into the concourse. I can't find a single thing that would really make a large number of people come here, except for possibly the movie theater. Okay, to be honest, the most thriving part of this mall is the first floor food court, with another redevelopment of this place into just like office complex or something. You know, that's maybe what I can see happening here in the future. As a mall, this just isn't working. It just doesn't work. So I found this bridge that comes out of the Ballston quarter. I don't know what it leads to. This is what I'm seeing.
So this is Ballston Exchange, and it has no direct relation to the former Ballston Commons Mall or Ballston Quarter. They're separate buildings, owned separately, and Ballston Exchange is owned independently by Jamestown Properties.
This area connects to the metro.
This place has 12 floors of office space, but the Exchange shares a sky bridge with the mall, and it serves to connect across Wilson Boulevard, which gives access to the Ballston Metro stop, which is one more block to the north on Fairfax Drive.
So this is the third section here that I've encountered for what I'm guessing makes up the Ballston Commons or whatever. But this is more of like a office space, more so than the last one. I mean, they're both very much office space, but this one has more of an old school gallery arcade kind of feel.
And this is the Ballston Metro stop, which opened on December 1, 1979. Similar to what we just saw, the Ballston Exchange, it again bears no actual relation or ownership to the Ballston Quarter Mall. but it is a super rad metro station that has a Hilton attached to it.
All right, so it looks like this is the Hilton Arlington, and a couple little shops in the metro station over there. Let's head back over to the Ballston Quarter by way of the Ballston Exchange. It stinks. That's really cool. This is a place that sells farm fresh stuff that you can purchase, but not until it's ready. Look at how cool that is. That doesn't get much more organic, and I guess people in this area really dig that. Okay, fast elevator. My God, my stomach. Access to Ballston Quarter. Okay, so we're back in the mall now. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're gonna have to take the stairs again because the escalators are definitely both out of service and I'm not gonna run down them. So let's go down to the first floor. Okay, so the Macy's is down that way. Food court's right down there. You can just see a bunch of drywall around me. There are no stores here. And it looks like the biggest thing that they're advertising is the food court. If you look behind me, this is like a giant sign that shows you everything that's in the food court, which there's a lot. Yeah, there's really nothing to compel anybody to come here. Down that way, there's Chick-fil-A. That, you know, it's Sunday today, so that's closed. But other than that, there's just a shady massage parlor and nothing. Empty Macy's behind me. And there you have it. That's the layout of this place. Just for what it's worth, when I first got here and went in through that weird shouldn't be here entrance or whatever, there was a ton of people here. But I think most of those people were here for like the church or the movies, possibly getting dinner down in the food court. But now that like the mall is closed, people I know are gonna get in the comments like this mall is jumping most of the time. There's so many people here, and that's true. There's a lot of people here, but there's nothing really for them to do here other than go to the movies and get food. Like this really dispels the myth of what a dead mall should be. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous looking mall that just got redeveloped right before COVID, but there's just nothing here. And now that the mall is closed, technically has been closed for a half an hour now, I'm just walking around in here. There's nobody in here, but there's pretty much the same amount of stuff open that there was when I first got here a couple of hours ago.
Sal, you're killing me with all these goddamn YouTube vlog shorts or whatever you call them. I can't keep up with this garbage no more. You gotta stop, control yourself, you animal. Speaking of shorts, by the way, Sal, you gotta come change my shorts. I made an accident, oops, with poop, and it's getting real stinky and wet up in my vicinity. Come clean me up. Oh, I love all of you beautifuls out there. Legion, you're so pretty. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I don't have any other friends. Sal's got me going to all these new malls around the new house in Virginia to make sure they're acceptable for yins or whatever. We don't want to show yous nothing bad, so we're keeping real busy, and I gotta go over to the Crystal Meth Underground to get ready for Halloween and change my pants and wipe my asshole out. I gotta go. I'll see yins all soon. Goodbye!
I'd like to thank all of you for watching my video and to help me usher in Phase VIII of my series. Since I've moved away from Baltimore to Northern Virginia, there's definitely been a huge adjustment period. That's taken me some time to get used to. And I've had to get familiar with a brand new area. If any of you have moved, packed up houses and stuff, you know what I'm talking about. Getting to know my local malls, both the dead ones and the thriving ones, has been a ton of fun though. And I have so much fantastic footage to show you all in the next few months. Thanks once again to all of my patrons and elite explorers who've given me super chats or bought merch for my website. Thank you. You are supporting my channel directly. If you've joined my Patreon or donated a super chat or purchased any merch, you're directly responsible for making the ExLog what it is today. For those of you looking to purchase any of my merch, you can find it at salvatoreamadeo.com/merch. As far as the Ballston quarter is concerned, I'm really at a loss here. I've seen a lot of dead malls, I've seen a lot of thriving malls, but this place refuses to accept its own identity, and it shouldn't even be a mall. This place is a transit hub, and it's clearly failed as a retail institution. It's on a premium plot of land where the capitals practice, and it's in an area that has plenty of cash to support higher end retailers, but it looks like they want outdoor retailers here, not a mix.
Awesome. Back in the day, I totally would have skateboarded down that. Okay, so it looks like my truck is that way. Oh, there it is right there. Sunbathing. God, it's disgusting looking. Really need to wash that thing. Oh.
This space was never properly developed to activate its potential in this market. It almost seems like the developers were too timid to go all the way with a full outdoor redevelopment or experiential offering. Or maybe it's just that Federated couldn't let go of one of their flagship Hecht's turned Macy's locations just yet. Now that Macy's is shuttered and facing demolition, I'm pretty eager to see what's going to come of this place, and I'm looking forward to revisiting again soon to see if any positive changes come through. For all the other locals, if you hear of something first, let me know down in the comments or on my social media. Once again, thank you all for sticking with me through the years. I've got dozens and dozens of new episodes lined up to produce, and we haven't even cracked into my backlog yet. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram, Threads, and X at Salvatore Amadeo, and both of my Facebook pages, Quite Studios and the Dead Mall Archives. To chat with me in real time though, come join my Discord server, home of DMod. Just point your browser to discord.gg/DMod. Answer the moderator's questions and you're in. I'll be back soon with ExLog 127, which will cover the end of Crystal Cities Underground in my 2024 Halloween special. I had a crazy expedition recently over there, and the footage is tremendous. So please make sure you subscribe to my channel and that you ring the bell for notifications. Even if you're already subbed, make sure the bell is rung so you don't miss out. Until our next expedition, please stay safe out there, Legion. Take care of yourselves and have a fantastic day.
Every day, America Online is making it easier for people to live, work, and play.
You know, I can even send email on the internet. And of course, there's my personal favorite, live chat. That's how I met my new kayaking buddies. I'm just finishing up here with my new kayaking friends.
Kayaking friends on your computer?
Yeah, I just got America Online. Kayaking friends.
Sounds great. Listen, I can't go to the game today.
What?
I've got to send something for my mom's birthday. It's tomorrow. I'll then book plane tickets for our trip next week, and my kids got to go to the library to look up dinosaurs.
Hey, we can take care of all that before we go.
Yeah, right.
Oh, with America Online.
America Online can do all that?
Yeah. How about sending your mom some nice flowers? All you do is click on Marketplace. We place an order.
Call now for America Online, a new way to use your computer.
And it's so easy. All you do is point and click.
But how does it work?
All you need is a computer and a regular phone line. They send you the software and give you 10 free hours to check it out.
How long have you had this?
about a week.
Call now for your free America Online Startup Kit and get free software and 10 free online hours. It's everything you need to get online. Call now for 10 free hours of America Online and get instant access to the worlds of sports, finance, computing, and entertainment.
Call 1-800-614-3434 now for your free America Online Startup Kit with free software and 10 free online hours. It's everything you need to get online. So call 1-800-614-3434.